Okay, getting the live stream up and ready. Until then, feel free to um, get comfortable. If you join the session, feel free to drop a GM. I'm curious where you guys are tuning in from. So let's see where everybody's tuning in from. Is it Europe, Asia, US, Latam, Africa, or Australia? Do I got all the continents? Maybe. Um, I forgot Antarctica. Anyway, I think we're good to go. Let me just check. Okay, we are live as well. That's fantastic. We are live on multiple platforms. So we are live on Zoom, we're live on LinkedIn, and Twitter, and YouTube, I think. So quite a lot of platforms. But without further ado, I think we can just get started. So, welcome everybody to today's workshop for the Resolve Hackathon. My name is Robert. I'll be your helper for today, and I'll be introducing Rick from Scaffold Stark. But just to do a quick house checks. I hope all your previous workshops were great. I think we had two of them covering fundamentals and Cairo smart contracts. And just to give a quick recap, we're 4 days away from the official kickoff, which is on September 15th. So make sure to tune in for that. And we have over $45,000 in prizes across multiple bounties. So make sure to get excited and ready. And just quick reminders for today's session. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A chat or whichever platform you use. Drop the message, and we'll get that covered. And this session is being recorded, so if you don't have enough time to watch the full session, we'll be able to share the recording. Now, again, as I mentioned, I hope the first two workshops were quite helpful, understanding the Starknet fundamentals and the Cairo programming. And this workshop in particular, it's all about speed. We'll learn how to ship decentralized applications super fast with Scaffold Stark. And I'm super excited and thrilled to introduce Rick, the core maintainer of Scaffold Stark, who's going to show you how to go from idea to deploy the dApp in record time. We already did this previous hackathon, and there's been major success. So looking forward to this one. Rick, the stage is yours, and take it away.
Yep. Thanks, Robert. Yeah, so let me just share my screen real quick. Okay, are you guys able to see my screen? Hopefully it's there. Like it should be like a slide. Yeah, so I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Rick. I'm one of the co-maintainers of Scaffold Stark. And basically, so I maintain Scaffold Stark. And today I'm going to just give a brief introduction to what we do in Scaffold Stark and how can we help you to build Starknet dApps fast. Like this is a hackathon situation where we have a pretty limited time and to ship a high quality product in order to win prizes. So I believe that this workshop will be very, very helpful to you all. Yeah. So first things first. So I believe, as Robert had mentioned, you have previous workshops on developing smart contracts on Starknet, but namely using Cairo and also how to write a smart contract with it. And so one thing that's missing, you cannot really do a full dApp without the client, right? The front end. So this is where we come in. So we, so we will be going over on how to ship the client part of your dApp really, really fast. Yeah, so speaking of client, we have a bunch of libraries written in multiple languages. So for example, we have Starknet Rust, we have Starknet Python, and we have Starknet JS. I think most of the participants here are using JavaScript to build a web-based application. So this workshop is going to be more heavy on using the Starknet JS part, which is the JavaScript part, right? So in the Starknet front end, like there are a bunch of layers. So the base layer is Starknet JS, which is like the low level client library for interacting with your interacting with the Starknet blockchain. Then on top of that, if you're using React JS, then this is something that is built on top of Starknet JS. So you can write easily React applications with it without having to manually consider the trade-offs with the lower library. Then we have Scaffold Stark, which kind of like allows you to do a lot of things out of the box with Starknet React and Starknet JS. Yeah, so let's go over them quickly one by one. So as I mentioned before, Starknet.js is a lower level library that allows you to do very granular control, very fine grained control that you would like to your for interactions to the Starknet blockchain. So you can do stuff like formatting your address, sanitizing your address, instantiating your account, signing in particular ways, or like interacting with your smart contracts in a particular way. The base layer is always Starknet.js. Then going up one level, we have standard React, which is React written on top of it, right? So we have mainly this is mainly hooks. So you have stuff like reading operations, use read contract, writing to the blockchain operations, send transaction, wallet operations, using your account, connecting, disconnecting, and also reading your events, right? Use events if you want to know the history of your activities in the Starknet uh, blockchain, given that the contract emits some events for you to consume. Right. So on top of these two, we have built Scaffold Stark. The reason why we have built this is because we noticed that in the ecosystem mostly things are kind of scattered about, right? Scattered about, so that it's quite hard to it's not hard, but it will take quite some time for you to set it all up. For example, you have to install standard React manually, standard JS manually. You have to set up your Next.js manually. Then you have to do all these things manually, so you are consuming some time to do it. So we want to solve that problem. We want to make it so that you can have all these tools in one place all at once. So all you have to do is just start shipping your features. Right. So this project is we are the core maintainers are not the only one who have contributed to this project. So we have a lot of people from the Starknet open source ecosystem also that help us contribute and make Scaffold Stark a better project. So thanks to everyone who has contributed. And if you are familiar with Scaffold Eve, this is a very similar framework to Scaffold Eve. Yeah, so the tech stack is, like I said before, everything that I mentioned before, Starknet React, Starknet JS, as well your smart contract development tools like Cairo and Starknet Foundry are all inside Scaffold Stark, right? So it's like a one place where you have everything set up for you out of the box. When you just git clone or you run our scaffolding command, it will just be there, all there for you. You can get started immediately. So why should you use Scaffold Start? So first major reason is that you want to build stuff fast. For example, you're in a hackathon, like the current Resolve hackathon, or you want to build MVPs to show your investors, to show your VCs, right? So you have to come with something fast that is working, not just like, sometimes people would want to build like a mock MVP, but it's better if you have a working product. So using Scaffold Start, you can ship it way faster. And also we also aim to give you guys a better developer experience. So for example, if you're developing your smart contracts, if you don't use Scaffold Stark, you use the regular Stark and Foundry way, you have to write command lines commands like this. Like they are quite long, lengthy, and sometimes you might make a mistake in the commands and you're wondering why the transaction wouldn't go through. Right, we provide a debug UI that allows you um, to execute your contract as you develop it. So every time we deploy to the DevNet, every time you deploy to Sepolia, this interface will update, adapt to your contract so that you can play around and test your contracts in a very friendly way, user-friendly way. And also we provide helper components and hooks in React. So if you see the hook just now from standard React, we built a more safety type safe features on top of it. And also we make them even easier to use. So you don't have to, for example, drag your own ABI or drag your own address from your contracts. You just have to, when you deploy the contract, we modify the front end for you in such a way that when you use these hooks, you just the configuration you need to get them to read your contracts or write your contract is very minimal. And we also provide some extra hooks like use scaffold multi-write contracts, which allow you to have a bundle transactions, which can be done in one signing without having to sign multiple transactions. So the main point is just develop fast, just focus on your features and just get your hand dirty doing your dApp. Right, so just an extra tidbit here. We recently shipped a new feature, some new features. Like first of all, we do have a scaffolder command. If you run this command, you can get a scaffold start template ready for you, ready for you to start tinkering with. And now we have also launched extensions. So extensions is where we pre-integrate some features for you. So for example, if you want to integrate an indexing server, You just have to write extension, the indexer name, then it will just come out of the box with your Scaffold Stark. So this will make your configuration step even faster. Just go straight to the feature that you want to use. So the only available one now is the indexer. The other two here is still a work in progress, but it will come very soon. And the other is that we have launched our DevNet Block Explorer recently. So before we didn't have this. So now when you're doing a transaction in DevNet, you can easily track it like you would in the Stark scan or like a Voyager. So like it's very easy for you to keep tabs on your transaction, make sure they work, and also keep track of the history of these transactions. Yeah. So without further ado, let's dive in. Right. Okay, so before that, if you guys want to just want to learn more about Scaffold Star, or you are interested in contributing to Scaffold Star, you can feel free to join the group chat right here. Right, so it's gonna leave it for like a few seconds before I dive into the hands-on part.
All good, I think.
Okay, very good.
No questions from the audience.
Yeah,
Make
and
sure to scan the QR.
yeah, if you want to learn more, feel free to scan it. And yeah, so let's dive into the code. Right, so I've prepared a terminal window here. So we're going to start with terminal. We don't have to do a git clone. So if you want to start a project using Scaffold Stark as your base, all you have to do is just write npx create start at latest. Right. So you can do extensions like I did before. Like for example, like it's some indexer we have an indexer called allcore running with our Scaffold Stark currently. But I think for now I will just go through the default template of Scaffold Stark. So if you just run npx create start at latest, this will give you a default template for a Scaffold Start that you can start working with immediately. So it will prompt you where do you want to install. I just call it my dApp example, install dependencies, yes. Then yeah, it will start scaffolding your project for you, like running the installation of dependencies and setting up the Git for you. Yeah, so just give it some time. Shouldn't take too long. And yeah, meanwhile, we're also welcome to take any questions if anyone has any. Okay, so just about I say that it's done. Right, so let's open this project. So if I go to the folder here, as specified here, then if I just run my editor, my cursor here in this case, you can see that we have an entire project scaffolded for you, like complete with this version control as well. So I think this is a bit too small, so I will just zoom that in for you, right? Okay, so if you see here, like I explained before, Scaffold Stark has two big components, which is your front end and your smart contract development tools. Right, so all you have to do is just, if you want to start developing smart contracts, we have a Starknet Foundry here pre-built for you. So just have to just modify the contracts that you have here. Right, so we give you a pre-built, like pre-made smart contract, just a sample one for you to for demoing, but you can change this to your contracts later on. And also the test, you can also do the smart contract test in one place, which is over here, right? Then also when you want to deploy, we also provide a deployment script for you so that you don't have to go through a very difficult deployment process. For the front end side, we have Next.js. We pre-scaffold a Next.js app for you, complete with all like the pre-made components and the hooks and such, with all the Starknet front end tools is pre-installed. So you can just start modifying this and you'll be good. You can start working immediately right away. Right. So I'm going to start just give a quick demo on how we can develop a smart contract in Scaffold Start. So in here, let's say we are developing this contract right here. Then I want to test it out. So you don't have you just have to run yarn chain right here. Do note that you have to install this dependency as well, so that you can run this properly. So you need to install DevNet. You have to install the Starknet Foundry, and you have to install Scarp. And these are not pre-included, so these three have to be pre-installed before you use Scaffold Stark. Or you can use the Starknet Foundation's dev container to get them running in the Docker container. It also works. right? So after you get those installed and you have scaffolded the project like this, just have to run yarn chain. This will do is this will run the DevNet instance, right? So you develop a net. And also as of today, like this supports the latest version of Starknet and RPC 0.9, Starknet 0.14. So yeah, so we are keep it very, very up to date with the latest Starknet updates as well. So then to deploy a smart contract, let's say I want to deploy this your contract, smart contract right here, just have to run yarn deploy. So this is all I have to run. Compiling contracts. So if I just run yarn deploy, it will just deploy all the contracts that I have here in my source folder, which is very handy. And yeah, as you can see here, our contracts have been deployed. And now we can do yarn start to run our front end. So let me pull up my Chrome real quick so that you can see what's running. So, so here we have localhost 3000, which is where it's running currently. So, sorry about that. Okay, so here is your Scaffold Stark interface, the default one. So let me disconnect this because we're on DevNet. This account's not available there. So if you just we provide you with some pre-seeded wallets, burner wallets that you can use to test around with your contracts. So you can just connect to one of them. You'll be given like 1,000 Stark right off the bat, so you can test out your contracts without worry of like running out of funds. Right. So first feature that I would like to introduce to you is the debug contract features. So this is where you would test out your contracts as you try to develop on it. Right. So if you can see here, our contract has 4 functions. All of them are one of them is a read function without any input variable, without any input arguments. Sorry. Then these two are write functions. Then this one is the same as the first one, which is like a non read function that do not have an argument. So you can see here we have the corresponding functions with their values here. So you can monitor values. And if you go to the right tab here, we have the functions: set greeting, withdraw. These two come from external contracts, which is the Open Zeppelin ownable contract. So that's why you don't see them here. But they also, since they are part of the contract, they get deployed as well, and the ABI is recorded in our front end. So the ABI, when you deploy the ABI, we automatically bring it over to the Next.js side, so you don't have to go and find the JSON from your Starknet Foundry. We automatically copy it for you to the front end, so you can just continue developing. So for example, if I just change here to hello resolve, right? So I just don't want to send any start. If I just test it out, you can see here it can change the greeting variable here, so our transaction works. And if we check here, we have a block explorer. If you click this block explorer feature here, you can see that our transaction actually works over here, right? So this is how you would debug your smart contracts. Let me show you in action. So for example, I want to add a new function, which is like just bring back the greeting to default, right? So just function set greeting to default. Just close this so you can see reference to contract state. Then we just add another function right here. So just have the AI help me do it. So it will just revert it back to this particular function here. I save the contract, then I will redeploy it. So let me just pop another terminal. If I run yarn deploy, it will redeploy the contracts for me to the DevNet. Right. So now we have redeployed our contracts. Then you can see here when we come here, we have a new function here, right? So it's auto adapting to your smart contract as you write it. So it's gonna be really optimized for you. So if I just do if I just set a greeting to something else, for example, hello, greeting change, then if I just run this again, you can see it's back to default. So our function is working. This is how you can test it so that you have a faster feedback loop on doing a smart contract. So in case that there's one more feature that I want to show you when you're developing smart contracts. So for example, if you are doing some forks, our framework does support chain forks as well from the mainnet and Sepolia. And you want to bring some contracts over, which you don't develop yourself, but you know the ABI is there. Since that you don't develop it, when you deploy, it doesn't get recorded into the ABI of the front end. So what you can do is that you can use this feature here to just extract the contracts from those Sepolia or mainnet networks, so that you can integrate these contracts into your front end without having to clone the Keros source file as well. So that's like a bit of a intro to the development. Oh, also when you want to deploy to Sepolia, for example, you can easily just specify your network to do this. So let me try it. You can also easily deploy to Sepolia and mainnet in a few commands as well. So you don't have to really specify the RPC URLs and such. Apologies. Yeah, so in here, in this case, we don't have the private key set yet. So I'm going to just set it privately, because revealing a private key is not always the best idea to do it. So yeah, let me just set the private key in this environment variable right here. As you can see, you need to set some private key for Sepolia in mainnet. So let me just set it there, move it back here, and just close this. Right, so okay, so I've set my private key. So if I redeploy Sepolia, it should deploy just fine, right? So it's deploying now to the Sepolia, and you can also do the same with mainnet. So you just specify network, mainnet, then it will easily deploy to mainnet. Right. So while this is deploying, do you guys have any questions so far, or any thoughts, any questions? Just curious.
Um, there is one question, but it's mostly like a debugging error. So I'm thinking like, should we take it after the session? Suraj was having issues like running the yarn deploy. And yeah, I think if you want, we could take it after the session on the Telegram chat.
Okay, sure, sure. Feel free to just let me know if you run into any issues on any of these. Yeah, this previous error is because I haven't set the private key on this respective variables yet. But once you do it, it should work just fine. Right here, we have our contract deployed to Stark Scan. It shows the Explorer. You can just click it and see the contract in the Block Explorer. Yeah. So now I'm going to go into more detail into the front end side of things, right? So what I'm going to just integrate this contract right here into the front end right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce to you what the hooks can do, and yeah, what are things you can do here. So first of all, since the hooks have like stateful variables, you might want to you have use client right here, because in Next.js, like if you have something that has a state, you would have to use this directive at the top of your file. Yeah, so so the front end stack is using Next.js. So I think I kind of glossed that over a bit. So you write stuff with HTML, React, and yeah, rest stuff with components. And we provide different components for you to use. For example, address your balance, also your connected address and such. So we also give you some components that you can use to start developing your dApps as well for those commonly used components. Okay, so I'm going to try to make a button where, like, if you just kind of like click it, it will change the greeting. Right? You also want to display the greetings in there. So let's start with reading the contract. Right. So So if you just want to read the contract, this is just disable cursor. Okay, I just disabled my autocomplete so that it doesn't do funny stuff. So when you do this, use scaffold read contract, which is like a helper hook that can allow you to read smart contracts. You can get the data and you can get the loading state. Right. So in here, we want to get the greetings that we did just now, right? So you need to specify the contract name, which is your contract. You can see here, this autocomplete doesn't come from cursor. If you use a VS Code, this will also appear. So VS Code without copilot. So this is not AI because we enforce type safety over here. So for example, specify your contract name, your contract. If we recall, the greeting is called greeting, like the function that you have to call. So just specify your function name, greeting. Then it has no arguments, so we just leave it at that. So for example, if you just write something wrongly by accident, it will error out. It will tell you that this contract doesn't exist. You haven't deployed this before, so this is not correct. So this is where like you can count errors very early on in your development process. Right. So now we're going to just show it below the Scaffold Stark text here. So yeah, so just whip up a quick span. So span, just make it a bit bigger so that you guys can see. Then we just write the greetings here. The data. Okay, so this is the just rename it to greeting. So this would be greeting. It goes to string, and we can see that our greetings are there. So we just convert to string since this comes in a byte array format. So we just convert to string. You can see that our greetings that we specified here, building unstoppable apps, is over there. And so we're going to try to write something. Let's change the greeting. If, for example, if I'm writing an application, then I want to change this greeting using your custom UI, right? Your own UI. So it takes send async. Then here you write use scaffold multi-write contract. So in here, you do the same thing. So the name is contract name. So this will be your contract. Function name. Oh, this is just write, not multi-write. I'm going to demo that a bit later. So this just be contract write function name. Okay, so this is function name here. It would be set greeting. Then the arguments would be, if we just refer to our debug contract pages right here, it'll be a string and it'll be like an option, like a Cairo option, right? So this would be hello result. Then this would be a new Cairo option. You specify like a Starknet JS option here. Per option, currently we just don't want to send some money to the contract. So since that, if you see here, the option corresponds to the amount of Stark you are sending to the contract, right? So we just want to opt for the non option here. Want to choose that. So this would be Cairo option variant, none, then just specify 0 here. All right, so it's like that. Set greet, set greeting. Okay, so if I just create a button here, that's wrong. Just set greeting right here. I add the on-click handler. So in React, this is how you specify like a function. If you want to click, set greeting like that. So let's make the button a bit more visible. Okay, button primary. So our Scaffold Stark also comes with aside from Tailwind, as you can see here, we also come with Daisy UI. So you just can easily use Daisy UI as well to make your app look better. Right, so if you see the home here, we have, okay, the color is not there, but the button is here. So if you just click it, a transaction will happen, and this changed to hello result. Right, so we have successfully changed our command from our own logic, not from the debug page. Right. So one more thing I want to show you is like the a multi-write contract. So what if we want to send like a greeting with some money inside? So hello premium. Then we just send one Stark over. So 1 times 10 to the power of 18 because we need to send one Stark, not one, not a smaller unit. So if we do it, the transaction will actually fail. The reason is that we haven't approved our funds to be sent over yet. So you have to actually approve it before we send it. But if you're familiar with the other experience on, for example, Ethereum and Uniswap, like if you want to swap, you have to approve first, then you have to swap, right? So you have to sign two different transactions to do it. But in here, you can do it in one transaction. So you can use our hook, which will allow you to do this in one single transaction. Right? So it's called Scaffold Multi-Write Contract. So send async, set greeting with premium, use Scaffold Multi-Write Contract over here. So this takes in some parameters which called calls. Then each call consists of contract name. So first, this will be the start contract, which is our ERC20 contract. Then function name, this will be approve. Then the arguments would be, this usually would involve the spender and the amount that you approve the spender to spend for you, right? So you have to do this in the correct order. So let's just use our debug contracts to easily check it out so that we just know. So if we try to find approve here, you can see that we specify the spender first, then we specify the amount, right? So since we want the contract address of your contract to spend the funds for us, so we can grab that address information. So to do that, you just specify. Oh my bad. So here specify your contract here. What this does is this will just grab your contract instance. Use something called deployed contract info and just specify your contract. Again, auto complete is on full action here. Type safety. So this is where your contract will be. And yeah, so this what you do here, just specify the address, data address right here. Then you approve. Let's just make it approve to start. So in here, just copy this so that we have a long number. We approve. Then we will call the your greeting function, right? So we can just copy over this parameters right here with premium. We just change the argument hello resolver premium. Then we have to change to sum and just give them one start. So just do one start over here. So by doing this, we will sign one transaction to perform these two functions so that it's a really, really significantly better UX than rather than you having to do two transactions. So let me just copy over this section right here and use set greeting with premium. And yeah, then we will just try to go over and see. So if you see here, set greeting with premium, if you just click it, you can see it works now, right? Just now we tried to just set a greeting without approving. It doesn't work, but now it works. It means that two of the transactions are happening all at once, right? So let me go over uh, the how you can configure this Scaffold Stark so that you can suit it to your needs. So just now I've performed some basic of things that you can do with it, how you can make your own style, make your own dApp user experience easily with the hooks. If you see here, so and I'm going to show you how to quickly configure it. Right. So now in here we see if you go to scaffold config, this is where you configure most of your front end stuff. Right. So these are mostly default. I think for most cases you can keep these other four configs as a default. But usually what you want to change here is the chains. Right. So for example, I want to develop in Sepolia and stuff like the DevNet, for example. Sepolia right here. So if I change this to Sepolia and I refresh, right? So now it's actually in Sepolia, but you have to connect your wallet first. So in this case, we are using the one of the three wallets that we pre-integrated. Currently, if you are bringing your own wallet, you have to right now you have to integrate them yourself. But let's say I'm using a Ready wallet, which is used to be Argent wallet. So I've connected my Argent wallet with it, and my Argent wallet, the Sepolia has a Starknet ID, so it will display it for you when you connect it. So just pretty cool if you guys want that particular functionality. As you can see, you can also perform this debug function on the Sepolia as well. Right. So just now, if you remember, we deployed Sepolia. For example, I want to set a new greeting. Hello from Sepolia. Right here, none. If I do this, you can see that we are actually sending with our Ready wallet. Right. So we can also do stuff from Sepolia and mainnet as well. But of course, when you're developing, you don't want to use real money, so you want to use mock tokens. Right? For example, if I'm doing a multiple transaction with, for example, a set greeting with premium, if you see here, we have two transactions happening all over at once. So you have the approve function happening and you have the set greeting function happening. The reason why this says high risk is because we're using a local host. It's a new app that the radio wall doesn't recognize. So if you're doing this on your local machine, like for example your own Scaffold Stark, that's fine. But if you are doing on like a particular other website, then you might want to be careful and also listen to their warning. Okay, so just accept the risk and just confirm. Okay, so should change the contract, change the value to hello resolver premium like we demoed just now, right? So that's like I think that's like the mostly the gist of it on what you can do with Scaffold Start. Happy to take any questions if you guys have any, and also I think I can display also the resources that you can refer to, and I think I also can share this PowerPoint later on in the hackathon group so that you can refer to all these resources and help you when you develop your applications later on in the front end side of things. Yeah, so that's it, guys. So thank you so much for having me. So any questions? Ready
Fantastic,
here?
Rick.
Yeah.
Thank you for this session. I think there's like one question and then one remark maybe. So the question from Suraj was like if you can clarify what you did after running the npx create Stark latest. I think the next step, what was that?
Yeah. Okay. So there's nothing we do particularly when we're running the case stock latest. So for example, let me just run it for you again so that you are clear. So let me just move it out. If I run this again, just clear the curse terminal. If you run it again, case stock latest, it will just ask you a bunch of questions, right, that you might want to answer. So for example, where do you want to install new files? So for example, you can name it cool dApp. right? It will also work. So, and it will ask you also whether you will install the dependencies. In the most cases, I recommend you just say yes. There might be some reason why you don't want to install the dependencies, like for example, running an npm install. But in most cases, I just recommend you just hit enter on this step, right? So if you just say yes, then it will just start to set up the project for you.
Nice. I hope that explains it. So thank you. And then I think there was a remark regarding from Nightmare button primary at one point, but I think that's all fixed now. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the button parameter. Oh yeah, that's like the tailwind. Oh, where is it? Oops. Okay. Wait. Right. For some reason. Okay. Yeah. I think because of this, like no space in my computer because I just run to this for this particular error. But yeah. But usually, normally, you just answer the questionnaires, then it will work.
Yeah,
Button primary. Oh
and then
yeah.
the follow-up from Suraj was like, what's the command after you created the project? Which command did you run after that?
Okay. Yeah. So for that, there's three commands that you just have to use. So if you go right here, so you have to run yarn chain. This is to set up your development environment blockchain. So it's like, for example, if you use Hardhat and AVM, it will run Anvil for you. This is the same. It will run Starknet DevNet. So that's like your local blockchain. If you just run yarn chain, so we use yarn here primarily. So if you're on yarn chain, it will set up your DevNet. If you run yarn deploy, what it does, it will deploy all your smart contracts that you have written in this directory here, in this contract directory here. No, not here, sorry. Apologies. It's in here. Contract source right here. You have written some smart contract here. If you run yarn deploy, it will just deploy this to the blockchain. Yeah, so it will deploy that into the blockchain. Then if you run yarn start, it will run the front end for you. So this is like the three primary commands that you have to run. This are all in our documentation. So if you are like running if you are trying to set it up, you can just refer to our documentation and it's all there. Yeah. So we are not using npm in this. We're using yarn. But yeah, let me just share to you so that I think we can be aligned also. So my node is node 23, I believe. I recommend everybody here, if you're doing anything with Node.js, you use something called nvm, which is like a version manager for your node, so you can easily switch between versions of your Node.js. So my node is version 23, and my npm is version 11. So these are the two dependencies that I'm using. And yeah, but I do recommend everyone to use npm, something called npm. You can just check it out. Yeah, just Google it what npm is. For example, you have to use for some reason you have to downgrade your Node.js. You can just use nvm install 20, nvm install 21. You can easily switch between node versions. Yeah,
Cool.
but yeah.
Fantastic. Makes sense. Well, if there's any more issues, I think we can take them on the Telegram Hackathon channel, the support channel, and feel free to ping Rick there. Everybody's there, so make sure to ask any questions there. Um, Thank you, Rick, once again for showing us Scaffold Stark and how to develop your dApp extremely fast. Some key takeaways, I think now you know how to bootstrap a full decentralized application quite quickly, and this is perfect. This is perfect for the Resolve hackathon timeline. So make sure to check out the resources that Rick shared in the presentation. And what's next? Basically, tomorrow, I think we have another workshop where you will learn about what can you build in fintech with Starknet. It starts at 3 p.m. UTC, so that's 15 UTC. So make sure to join that and learn more about that. September 15th is the official kickoff day. Super exciting. The hackathon will start officially on the 15th. And finally, make sure to add the Hackathon Workshop calendar to your Google Calendar. It's quite important so you can stay on track with everything that's happening, and also you get like notifications when something starts. Finally, we do have the Telegram channel. So if you have any questions there, feel free to drop them in the Telegram channel. I did share them in the Zoom chat, and I think that's roughly about it. Super excited about this, and again, thank you, Rick, for
Thank
this
you.
workshop. And thank you for the viewers for joining and tuning in. And I'm happy to see the results of the hackathon, the dApps and projects that are being built. And I'll see you everyone tomorrow. That's about it for today. So have a great day and see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, guys. See you.
Bye bye.